Hello, video on demand people. do you think? Do you think a princess and a guy like me?
No.
Being held by you.
You don't even know? Put that down. Alone in the south.
Being held by you.
You don't even know? Put that down.
Situation normal.
From now on.
Alone in the south.
Being held by you. Need to worry, blaze your brain.
You don't even know? Put that down.
Situation normal.
From now on. Being held by you. Need to worry, blaze your brain.
You don't even know? Put that down.
Situation normal.
From now on.
Alone in the south.
Being held by you. Need to worry, blaze your brain.
You don't even know? Put that down.
Situation normal.
From now on.
Alone in the south.
Being held by you.
Alone in the south.
Being held by you.
You must learn the ways of the Force if you're to come with me to Alderaan.
Alderaan? I'm not going to Alderaan. I'm going to get home. It's late. I'm in port as it is.
I need your help, Luke. She needs your help. I'm getting too old for this sort of thing.
Sing your song, sing out for me. Give it everything you've got, just one more time for me. Moving from the dark, I'm all of this and nothing. I'm the dirt beneath your feet. I'm the sun that rises while you're sleeping. I'm all you need. The river's wide, too wide to see. There's a storm outside my window, moving close to me. Moving from the dark, I'm all of this and nothing. I'm the dirt beneath your feet. I'm the sun that rises while you're sleeping. I'm all you need. Black water high, too high to breathe. There's a ghost outside my window, haunting me. Moving from the dark, moving from the dark. I'm all of this and nothing. I'm the dirt beneath your feet. I'm the sun that rises while you're sleeping. I'm all you need. I'm all of this and nothing. I'm the dirt beneath your feet. I'm the sun that rises while you're sleeping. I'm all you need. Moving from the
And we're live. They can see us, they can hear us. Hey, YouTube, how's it going on? That's the sentence that came out of my mouth. Okay. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into it. Hello, fellow Galactic listeners. I'm Aaron Hoolian, and this is WSTR, Galactic Public Access, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 252. We hope you and yours are well, and with everything crazy going on, we want to continue to be a platform that promotes positivity, life, and hope. And a little Star Wars along the way, for good measure. It's been a while. We took a few weeks off for the holidays, as you do, but we are excited to start 2022 with a very special guest that we have here. Today we are restoring the galaxy one bit at a time, partially thanks to Sky, admin and content creator for a fun restoration project for that MMO game that you might remember, Star Wars Galaxies. Welcome to the show, Sky.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for being here. Before we restore peace and order to the galaxy, let's see who else we got here. Mr. Todd Hoffman.
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Super excited.
And what a happy New Year it is.
Yes. We're 10 days in, and It's great. It's fantastic. So happy 2022. Here we go.
Awesome. The girls have the night off, Carla and Heather. So, Todd, that means you're going to have to tease the news.
That's right. I will try my best Heather impression. No, I won't. But I will carry on the tradition of teasing the news. Okay. First up, what the Force? What a piece of junk and distant echoes in the Force. So get out your decoder rings and make sure you stay tuned and see if you can figure it out later in the program.
Until then, we're just going to jump right into our main topic.
All right, Sky, we're going to start off with a very easy question. We ask all our guests this, and is, how did you get into Star Wars?
I actually remember the day. I was a little kid, preteen. It just happened to be playing on the VHS at my dad's house. I was so scared of the cantina scene, I had to turn it off. But later that week, specifically. But I remember it scared me, and I had to build up the courage to actually watch the movie. And once I did, I was hooked. I watched all of them VHS. I can't remember. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's great. So how did that love continue to like your adult life?
Well, unfortunately, I'm kidding, but I ran into Star Wars Galaxies, and that came out in 2003, but I started playing in 2004, and I've been on and off most of my life since, and that's been keeping me in Star Wars, along with the movies, of course.
That's awesome. So why don't you tell us a little bit about this Project Restoration 3? Like what's this all about? Give us the skinny.
Well, Restoration 3 is a Star Wars Galaxies private server. We're trying our best to emulate the combat upgrade era, which there were 3 eras. So we're trying to copy the middle one, the middle era. And once we release our Jedi Mustafar patch, which is the one we're working on right now, that's our considered like 1.0. And then we're going to start doing all this custom content. And then it starts changing from like the base CU to like CU custom. So that's pretty much Resto 3.
Gotcha. So what you're taking the actual game and you are making what exactly? You're having a private server to do what exactly?
Well, we don't make any money off of it, so that's out of the question. But pure enjoyment, and actually, me and Halo, for instance, or Halo and I should say, we are trying to break our way into like the real programming professional, career paths, and we're trying to use this as a stepping stone.
Yes, gotcha. Like, look, I made this beautiful thing over here.
Yeah, something like that.
Right.
Crazier things have happened. There's this YouTuber that I used to follow. I can't remember his name at the moment, but he got famous because he worked on he specialized in like first person animations for shooters. So he had these series of like absurdist humor videos where he would do things like he would animate like, what if this shooter game had a really big Glock, and it's like a Glock like the size of your torso, and this dude's just like holding it up and trying to fire it, and he would animate it, and beautiful, well done animations, but just for ridiculous concepts. Or like he'd load a 2-barrel shotgun where the shotgun shells are as long as the barrels themselves, and so the dude would just like pull it out and that actually got him a job, and now he's working on like the first person animations for either Call of Duty or Halo, one of those 2 titles. So it's totally a path that a bunch of people take. Mod community is like that too.
Yeah. What about the deep fake guy that like when Luke Skywalker came and showed up in Mando, he's like, I could do that better. And then Lucasfilm hired him Like, okay,
Yeah.
you can, and we want you. And so that's he just recently was working for Lucasfilm. So
Oh, that's
it's
so
definitely
cool.
yeah, it's definitely in the realm of possibilities for sure. So why Star Wars Galaxies? Like, give us a scoop. Like, what's the appeal? What do you like, and what are you guys trying to do with this project?
Okay. Well, why Star Wars Galaxies? Honestly, I think I have a similar answer that most of the players have, which is there's just no other game out there like it. And people will leave and they will eventually come back. That's just one of those games. You know, once you get a taste, unfortunately, you're hooked. You know?
Oh, okay.
20 years later, still hooked. Dang it.
Right.
That's some good spice.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely why.
Yeah.
And you know what we're doing with the project, man. I get to unleash my creativity. I love making quests. We have an inside little joke I'll share. Whenever I make quests, I stick to like a simple like naming for testing. And I had just worked on something that was supposed to be ancient. So I named everything ancient bunker, ancient DNA, ancient this.
Right.
So everyone gives me a hard time whenever I work on that stuff. And I do that. But it's all fun and games.
Right.
So having a great time and, making these cool concepts, and having people actually enjoy it. That's so cool. To me, that's so cool.
So since you're not quite to 1.0, so what, like, can you tell us a little bit about, like, when you develop these quests, are you kind of beta testing it on the server and seeing how other people react to that and kind of tweak it along the way? Can you kind of break it down for us, like what that really entails?
Yeah, usually I work directly with QA after I build it. I'll put it on the test center and then they'll go through it. But unfortunately, something like what we're working on for 1.0, which is Jedi related, you have to figure out the secrets to become a Jedi. So I can't just let anyone test it.
Right.
And we're like, so that one's going to be interesting. We're going to have other staff members that know how the Jedi system works, test it only, which, we're going to have to delay it to make sure it gets tested properly because of the limited pool. So we run into problems like that.
Understood. So can you just kind of break down some of your like duties as you do as a lead content person? Like what does that entail? You mentioned quests, but what are some of the other things that you have worked on or currently working on?
Well, programming wise, right now I'm working on the very first quest on your Jedi journey from where it stops becoming like this grind to cool and fun. So I'm like trying to create this quest that's in that transition there. That's what I'm currently working on. But other duties that I do, I admin for the project. So I, do community management, to help set up rules, this should be happening, this shouldn't, help make judgment calls, team management. And, unfortunately, like drama can happen, but I'd say our team right now is pretty drama free.
Nice.
Like keeping it that way is the challenge.
Right. Yeah. You all got to work together.
Yep.
That's right. Yeah. What are some of the challenges you face in the project as you're kind of building this out?
Oh, well, I'll hit on kind of what I was just saying there. So it's like getting the right people on the team and maintaining them seems to be sometimes half the battle, especially developers. This is a volunteer project that you don't get any thanks for.
What's the pay?
Yeah, that. Whatever you make at your day job.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So it's really tough to get people in that. I myself, I didn't know programming, and I started because of this. So, other people can jump in the same boat. So if you're listening and you want to be a programmer, and this could be a way to go.
Nice.
Get your foot in the door.
Right.
But sorry.
No, go ahead.
Another challenge we run into is like we have these plans to develop like 1.0, for instance. But we have all these bugs piling up too. So it's like trying to find the balance between them.
Yeah, those bugs, you got to get the QA right and just
Right.
make sure that they work through that. Right. Cool. If somebody's told, like you mentioned, like, hey, if somebody wants to get into programming and help out, but like, give us the overview of like Galaxies. What makes it attractive, and how do you why is this game? You kind of mentioned it, it's addicting, but what are some of the appeals of playing this MMO and why it's still around so many years later?
Okay. I would have to say, because of this concept alone, if you want to go out there and be better at shooting a pistol in real life, you got to actually get a gun or like a pistol and shoot it.
Right.
The same thing in the game. If you want to be good at a pistol, you have to use a pistol. You can't grind up with any other weapon and become better at a pistol. And you can mix and match at your own desire. Like you can be a doctor and a musician and not do any combat and be a successful player. You don't have to pick up any skills and be a successful player in the game. There are other avenues. It's
Aaron, this sounds like Dungeons and Dragons.
yeah, I would say
It
it's
kind of does. It sounds like you're rewarded for what you choose to do and what you
That's right.
practice over and over again. That's what you become good at.
Yeah, and if you want to role play, to be honest, you could do that. It's so easy. When I played on live, I was so young. My friend was like, "Dude, I live in my ship." I'm like, "I want this game."
Yeah.
And you can literally live in your ship in this game. You could have all your stuff in your ship. Sure, it's inconvenient, but it's still, you could do that.
Wait a minute. You're telling me I could be a smuggler like my man Han Solo and ride him around and, do all that kind of fun stuff?
Yep. You could do smuggler missions that put you in space too.
Nice.
Fly
So it
around
sounds
in
really
there.
self-directed. Like whatever kind of Star Wars character you want to be, this game will let you do that.
Essentially, except for the Jedi part, you have to actually work for that one. That's like, you can't just like pick to be that or work towards that openly.
Wait, you just can't pick up a lightsaber and wield it and do stuff?
I wish.
Take that, Finn.
No.
Wait. Is that not how the Force works? What's going on here, man?
Huh. Yeah. We should probably get with Disney on how to get the lightsabers to work.
Well, I'm interested. What's the rationale behind the design decision for that? Why is being a Jedi very rare in this game, where something like the Old Republic, I hope that's not a dirty word, that's much more common?
Well, the original CU had Jedi as supposed to be the alpha class, but it started to stop coming down from that alpha class status in the combat upgrade. But that is probably why, to be honest. We just wanted to kind of keep that. Halo and I love the idea of a Jedi unlock system. Some people have done servers where they're like insane hard to get. So it's like, oh, we got to make sure there's no Jedi. Us, we're like, we want to see people earn Jedi, so we don't want it to be impossible. Come on.
Right.
So that's what we want. And why? I couldn't answer better than that. Sorry, but
No, that's all right.
Yeah. What are those? Is it more time in what you have to do for those skills trees, or what's the tedious part of that grind there?
Well, Jedi is broken down for sure. Like you have to, once you earn it, it's a different stage. So it's just like any other class at that point. You create your training saver. But if you start doing Jedi stuff near NPCs or players, you'll start racking up a bounty, and player bounty hunters will start coming after you.
Oh, excuse me. Okay. Gotcha. All right. That's kind of cool. Now, can you choose the path of being Sith as well, or is it just Jedi?
Right now, you can only become a Padawan, but with our next big patch, we're gonna.
You mentioned Mustafar, so
well, I mean, you could still be an Imperial and a Rebel on the game, so you can be a Jedi and those, and kind of portray that. But you won't officially be able to be a Dark Knight or a or Light Jedi Knight until we add that stuff into the game, which will be soon after the 1.0 release.
Nice. Cool.
So we'll be eventually.
So can you what are all the how many planets could you visit and all that kind of fun stuff? Like, are there quite a few, or are you adding more, or can you break that down a little bit?
Yeah, planets. We definitely want to add some more. Right now, I think there's, going off the top of my head here, I think there's like 9 or so.
Gotcha.
Maybe a little more.
Gotcha. Okay.
But you can travel to all of them. Obviously not Mustafar yet, but
right,
eventually Mustafar. You can go to Kashyyyk right now.
Cool. Nice.
Obviously,
that's pretty.
Tatooine.
Well, obviously, yeah. It's a staple.
Yeah. Everyone loves the sand.
Everyone loves the sand. That's right.
Except for that one guy. His name.
So this takes place during the Galactic Civil War, I take it?
Yeah. Should be just right before after A New Hope, I think. Someone's probably going to correct me later on, but somewhere
we'll fact check you later. It's fine.
Yeah.
No, so it's after New Hope, but before Empire, you said?
I believe so, because Luke is technically a Jedi in the game, and Vader's still alive.
Yeah.
Like all the characters are still alive. So
now, do you run into them as you're progressing through the game?
Yeah, you can. And you can do missions for them. When I do events, I actually take over those types of characters. I usually play as Darth Vader. He's my favorite character. But I usually play as him and have him interact with the characters. So they actually don't see it like a God mode character. They see Darth Vader talking to them.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you actually type out messages to them and it's not all pre-scripted.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
I run a Star Wars flavored D&D like game, and so much of this crosses over with that as far as I'm just imagining the way that I would run a game like this as far as involving kind of well-known NPCs and having them interact with players and sending them out on quests and stuff. It's that stuff I could just come up with as a DM, but to actually make it a real playable thing in an MMO on a server that other people can interact with, that's a whole nother level of wow. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I've done actually. I was a DM for a Star Wars campaign that I did for about 6 months. We did Old Republic. I told them that since most of them knew the timeline, I was like, okay, the timeline could happen, but if you do things, you could potentially alter that timeline,
Yeah.
Right,
or maybe by not doing something, like maybe you were supposed to do something, to trigger the events to happen. So they were like, ooh, and I was like,
Now, do players in this restoration, do they have that same level of influence on the timeline of events?
They can't really change events in the game or anything like that, but they can host their own events and have their own NPCs, and they can talk through them. They can do what I can do, but on a smaller, limited scale, as far as role play goes. But as far as being able to change the course of events on the server, not so much. There are some events that do happen that are kind of like that, but not like you would be able to do in D&D.
Gotcha. So the major timeline of events is more or less predetermined and players can't really affect that, but they can kind of have all their own side stuff going on that, they can absolutely influence.
Yeah. Like there's for the 2.0 release, there's what's called Battle of Restus. And there's a quest and stuff that only happen before the Battle of Restus happens, and then during and after, and they're never available again. And one team can win and get a special badge.
Oh, hey-o. There you go.
And we'd have to reset the event like it never happened before to do it again. But we're trying to think of a way to have a rebuild phase. So that way it's not like us resetting it. It'd be like, oh, you rebuilt the city. Okay, now destroy it. You rebuilt the city.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah. Cool. So what's next for the project? Where are we at? How close you guys are to the 1.0 release?
Well, we normally don't give ETAs, but we're
Gotcha.
aiming for like February or sooner for 1.0. That's our
Cool.
goal. We'd love that. And
That's awesome.
After 1.0, it's going to be a huge weight off all of our shoulders on the team. We're just really excited to get that out. We're like, it won't come sooner.
right. A celebration will be had.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. If people want to find out more about this, where can they go? How can they, help support or get involved in this community?
Our website actually has like all of our info. I just posted in our chat here. So it has Discord, literally everything. And we just redid it for the new year too. So it's looking great.
It's looking good. All right. So it is swgr.org/home/ All right. We'll definitely put that in our show notes for sure. That's great. Okay. Outside of Star Wars Galaxies, what are some of your favorite Star Wars games?
Yeah, I was thinking about saying KOTOR, but then I started thinking about the original Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2. I'm so caught in between.
That's a good trifecta there.
Yeah. These are hard decisions. I mean, you don't have to pick one. That's a good 3. What do you like about the original Battlefronts?
Honestly, they are just great. They didn't go too far, and they kind of gave us game modes that we would like to play. Not so much 1, but 2. Like Conquest. Like, come on, guys. Battlefront 2 that just released not too long ago. All you had to do is just reskin this game, and I would have bought it. Back then. The hero mode, just even having all the heroes fight each other. Sure, that's a mess, but who cares? It's a game. Have fun.
Right.
It's a good like arcade mode.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It wouldn't happen in reality, but again, we're in Star Wars, so it doesn't really have to be reality. So it's fine. It's all fine. Yeah. That's awesome. What is your favorite video game of all time? It doesn't have to be Star Wars.
Oh, dang.
I know. These are we ask the tough questions here.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to say Age of Empires, the first Age of Empires that came out.
Wow. Okay.
That was my very first game I played, that was challenging on my own, not like a console game either. Dang, I think I ran that on Windows 95.
Yeah. It's been a minute. Of that genre, I was playing Star Wars Battlegrounds, man. I just loved me some.
Oh, that's a great one too.
I just loved. I mean, because it basically copied Age of Empire and put in a Star Wars skin on it, and I was like, I am perfectly fine with this.
Yep, I already knew how to play. I was like,
yeah,
we're ready.
We're ready.
I actually still have that installed right now.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And Battlefront 2.
Well, of course.
I'm looking through my Steam right now.
Yeah.
I got it.
Aaron, what do you have a favorite Star Wars game?
Oh man. A favorite for me as a kid was Shadows of the Empire. Just because like no other Star Wars game really feels like it. I loved the story of it where you're following just this side character who's kind of like a support for the main events of the story. And then when I got older and kind of learned more about the idea of it, where it's like the movie without the movie, and what a weird experimental media project that was, I grew to love it more. So that was my favorite for a while. I spent so many hours on Battlefront 1 and 2 on the PS2. I recently actually booted up Battlefront 2 just for nostalgic purposes, and found a save game on there with me and my brother playing through a campaign together back from 2008. And I'm like, oh, wow, I remember. Yeah.
Wow.
Back in the day.
So I had Had a member berry or two from that. Then, later I discovered Knights of the Old Republic, and that probably
Yes,
still
of
stands
course.
as one of my favorite Star Wars stories in
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
Probably just period. But it's just a hard game to recommend to people. Like my roommate, he tried giving it a go recently, and he's like, "Man, this is rough." And I'm like, "I know. It's old. It's janky. It doesn't hold your
Yeah.
hand whatsoever. It doesn't even tell you that it's like a pseudo turn-based game. So you really have to figure it out. It doesn't look as good as like anything else, but
Yeah.
I hope the remake does it justice, because more people should play it with as few obstacles in the way as possible.
Mm.
And then probably in more recent era, a Fallen Order has just made me fall in love with Star Wars in a new way again. The way that it tells the story and fills out the world, and it's very simple gameplay, but it's always adding something new onto it. Every hour or so, you pick up something new and just makes it more rich. Yeah, I love that stuff.
And it has that same KOTOR feel where it really doesn't hold your hand. It's like you can do whatever you want, but if you go to this planet, early, you're going to get wrecked. And it's like, okay, I understand that, That's what
you all
think
had
that's
to
what I
be
like
taught
about
by Ogdo Bogdo that
that
you need to have some patience. Come back.
Yeah. I hated Battletoads back in the day, and I hated that dude so much. Like this toad's it's wrecking me, man.
Yeah, it's a good
awesome.
lesson in humility. Yeah, those are my picks for notable Star Wars games.
Those are good. Those are good. Yeah. I mean, for me, it's Dark Forces. That's the first game. I got my Sound Blaster 16-bit card or whatever, and I got my 8 megs of memory, and I'm just living life, man, on my 486.
Star Wars Doom.
So, yeah, it was great. But you could look up and down, Aaron. These were things.
Oh my god!
And there was 2 levels in the game. You could see it was just wasn't one floor. So these are all things that are just fantastic. So that's always my first love. And Kyle Katarn stole the Death Star plans. I know it's Jyn Erso, but Kyle's my guy, So, but yeah, it's just one of those things. And then obviously, we talked about before, but Dark Troopers, and then now it's a Mando. It's a full circle. It's like poetry and rhyme. So yeah, that's always been my favorite game ever. So, but yeah. Outside of Star Wars Galaxies, do you do anything fun, Sky? What are the hobbies you have? Anything that what's geeky, or what's kind of piques your Star Wars interest? What are some things that you're into now?
Well, I like to think of myself as pretty boring, but
okay.
I love the VR.
Oh,
nice.
I got my sister into it, and now we challenge ourselves with Beat Saber. We're like, I can beat you on this song. And, yeah, of course I kick her butt now.
Right. Of course. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
But pretty much VR. Dang, I am boring. Yeah, I like playing games too. You got to relax. I love Star Wars games, just like you guys.
Yeah,
for sure. Some of the names you listed, I've seen in my library. I was like, yep. That one.
Yep, that one. Yeah. Yep.
Empire War. We didn't say that one. Empire War.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
That deserves a remaster or something.
They actually have a mod out that makes it like expanded crazy. Like the battles are huge. The ground battles are
Aaron.
Bigger. Yeah. I forget the name of it, but I could send it to you.
I might have to dust that one off.
Yeah.
Yeah, Empire War, that's definitely one that doesn't get a lot of love, but that is definitely a good one as well.
Yeah. Like they one last thing, they scaled it up so much that they kind of tell you, hey, if you go higher than this, you're going to need like buku gigabytes of RAM to put up with this. I'm like, what? This is an old game. But no,
You
They
need
did
the
it.
mega. You need the mega computer.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Anything with the new Star Wars content that you're liking? Anything recently?
Like the movie or the shows?
Movies, TV shows, comics, books, whatever, man.
Well, I don't consider any of the new movies part of, Star Wars history.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a
Gotcha.
Legends fan. I love Legends. I love the books.
There we go.
I'm all about that. Kyle's the guy
Uh-huh.
for sure. Yeah, I love the audiobooks on them too. That just helps you, get more of the books. I'm like,
Yes. Yeah.
I loved the Mall Crimson thing, Crimson Dawn.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I don't know if that's in Legends. Is that?
I think that was still. I want to say that still was Dark Horse. I don't know if that was. I don't know that if that was a Marvel run.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I'm like,
Yeah.
But that was still pretty cool though. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll give you that. That was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool. I didn't like what they did with Solo, but that was cool.
Right.
They did him
Right,
dirty.
exactly.
He's a family
Yeah.
guy. Come on.
Yeah. Awesome, man. So that's great. That's awesome. Okay, where can people find you, or where they can find this project out?
Well, you can find the project at the website. And then if you want to find me, I'm always on Discord.
Okay. Cool.
I don't even know my Discord handle.
Nice.
It's Sky.
I'm on Discord. That's like I'm on the internet somewhere.
Yeah. Find me on the internet. Surf's up, dude.
Restoration 3 has
surfing.
a Discord server, I presume.
Yes, they do. Or we do, I should
Yeah.
say.
Okay.
I think we have a nice invite link thing.
All right, cool. We'll make sure we'll get that out on the show notes. Awesome, man. Well, Sky, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for sharing your love about Star Wars Galaxies. And it's been really cool getting to know about this project. And we wish you the best of success. I hope 1.0 does come out very soon. And looking forward to seeing those updates.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, guys. Thank you
Yep.
so much.
Yeah,
Keep doing what you do.
Thank you. All right, YouTube, we're going to take a quick break to let Sky go, and we'll be back soon with the rest of the episode, so stick around. And we're back. Hey, YouTube. Thanks for your patience. The handoff has been had, so now it's time to get on with the rest of the show. All right, now it's time oh, goodness, I'm going to try that again. All right, now it's time to pay the bills. You should check out Audible, audibletrial.com/WSTR. It is Amazon's premier audiobook streaming service. You can claim your free 30-day trial, which includes a free audiobook of your choice and 2 free Audible originals. You get to keep them forever. Even if you hate the service, you're like, man, screw Jeff Bezos. I'm going to stick it to him and I'm going to cancel early and not pay a dime. That's okay, because we still get a kickback. So exploit the system. Head on over to audibletrial.com/WSTR. It's a great way to actually read a book, learn something, and support your favorite Star Wars podcast. I know it sounds too good to be true, but it is.
That crazy talk.
It's insane. We're also brought to you by our generous patrons over at patreon.com, the most direct way to support the podcast and enjoy exclusive content you can't get anywhere else. Our current patrons, by the way, patreon.com/WSTR media. That's important information. Our current patrons, Jeremy Myers, Scarif Scuttlebutt, Elena Strikes, Nicholas Schaefer, Rural Farm Boy, and introducing 2 new patrons, David Sager, shout out your boy, and Kevin Abato. So thank you so much for contributing to the show. We really do appreciate it. Helps keep the lights on, helps keep Zoom and Zencaster paid. So we really do appreciate it. I just recorded another episode of Tabletop Workbench. That's going to come out soon. That's the little show that I have talking about Star Wars D&D and the game I'm running and all the cool behind-the-scenes stuff that goes into making it happen. So if that piques your interest, and if you want to check out any of the other exclusive shows that we have on Patreon, that's patreon.com/WSTR media. Check it out. All right, Todd, the bills are paid. That means it's time to take out the trash.
All right, it's been a minute. Been 2 weeks, a couple weeks here since we did an episode, but it was a much needed and well-rested break. But back in episode 251, so last year, we were talking about the 20th anniversary of Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. And we did a little poll. So the poll was, we are discussing LOTR20, #bro, with a little golden ring there. This week we had special guest Armand on. We had Armand on, which was great. 2 weeks in a row. What is your favorite Fellowship scene? Drop those comments. Okay. We got Bilbo.
You can do it.
Yeah. Bilbo birthday Shire. Say that 3 times fast. Council of Elrond. Gandalf versus Balrog, and Amanhen battle, which is the end battle scene, basically. All great stuff. These are, there's a lot of things in Lord of the Rings that are fantastic, and these are like some of them. But if you had to pick a scene, what is your scene of choice there, Aaron?
Man, I think for dramatic purposes, I think the Council of Elrond is probably my favorite scene.
Yeah.
It's just because that's the crucial moment where you go from, these local yahoos trying to bring this ring to the mountain to like, actually this might work. We get some important context for the ring and how it came to be and why this is such a big deal to try to destroy it and bring it to Mount Doom and all that. And yet you have enough people there who are willing to back the Fellowship to actually bring it into being. And it's just so beautifully shot. I love it.
It's pretty good.
That's probably my favorite.
Yeah, and there's you guys mentioned it too. There was that great shot of Frodo looking in the ring and there's
Mhm.
fire. It's so wonderfully shot.
Yeah. If I had to pick like a silver medal, that would probably be like
Yeah.
Gandalf versus the Balrog.
Obviously,
Obviously.
yeah. I think it was Armand that said it. Like, without the Shire, though, that's that whole front scene really sets up like what they're fighting for once it gets real. You know, like that just, you just want to live there. You're like, I just want to go Shire, hang out and drink beer and
Mhm.
farm and, you know, do
Yep.
that kind of stuff. But it's it's not really a bit because it's a whole thing, but it's just cool how, you know, and again, like how Peter Jackson shot it, and it's very real. They went in there and grew crops. It's the whole thing, man. I mean, the attention to detail of this movie is just beyond epic, you know.
Mhm.
But for me, it's really hard. I really like Gandalf versus Balrog and the end battle scene, because like, you know, Count Dooku, I mean, Saruman is like building an army, and like it's, you know, they're coming after him, and it's like a kind of a great kind of climax to the story. But there's something, it's just something cool about like, even the orcs are scared of Balrog, and like, you know, like, I mean, when they leave the mine or whatever, and there's like a bazillion orcs, you're like, they're dead. They're just dead.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminds me of like Gauntlet, you know, like the old Gauntlet games where you're just like, they're all around you, like, they're gonna die. And then Balrog shows up, and you're just like, dude, this is not cool. I just love the anticipation, as well as like the heightened like we gotta get out of here, you know.
Yeah.
And obviously Gandalf with his "you shall not pass." I mean, it's just like, it's epic.
Wizard needs food badly.
right, exactly. So let's see what the poll says. Bilbo did not, the Shire did not get any love. I'm very sad to say. Yeah, 0%.
Not a one.
The end battle, 17%. Council of Elrond, 33%. And then Gandalf versus Balrog, 50%. So Gandalf for the win. It is a good scene. It's a great scene. Yeah, it's good. Well, guess what? We get to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Two Towers this year, too. So I can't wait to talk about that.
Oh, my God. We're so spoiled.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, you know, when you think about it, that they did film them all at the same time, which is another, you know, it's just a huge, I mean, yeah, they could do that now, but like the way that they did it all, you know, and they released it a year apart is pretty ambitious. It's pretty ballsy. But yeah, so yeah, Two Towers, we'll be celebrating 20th anniversary of Two Towers. So that's good. That's my favorite. I love that one. So, but anyways, that is all the trash we have. Okay, but next up, we have an intercepted Imperial transmission. This one got lost in the HoloNet, Aaron. This is an old archive message, but we preach every week. Send those emails and all that stuff, and we got to play them. So this is, well, we can't play an email. I mean, I guess if you had an attachment, we could play it. But I'm going to read this. And speaking of which, it kind of works out really well, because we were just talking about Star Wars Galaxies, and this was from Garrick. He's a longtime listener, and he was a guest on our show and a friend of mine. Episode 222, we talked about Marvel versus Star Wars fans. So if you want to check that out, go in the archives, pick up 222 and check that out. But this one is an email, and he sent it. He's like, in response to your tweet, my all-time favorite Star Wars game. So we had a question out there about Star Wars games, and he says it is Battlefront 2 2005. This game was so simple but so fun, especially since it came out right when episode 3 came out. I love being able to play with the Phase 2 clones and all the Jedi. Also, playing with another person made it even better. The original Battlefront was amazing, and this was a perfect sequel, i.e., adding new things but keeping the gameplay consistent.
Yes.
Thank you for your time, Garrick Ends. Well, thank you for your time, Garrick, for spending the hard-earned and typing in those characters to make a form sentence. I appreciate that. But yeah, we just talked about it, obviously, just with Sky. It's Battlefront 2 2005 is fun. It's fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but so the most recent Battlefront 2, great game as well,
Yes.
just for different reasons. And maybe if I had like a week to think about it, I could tell you exactly why the 2005 Battlefront 2 was fun in its own unique way, and it's different than this. That there's probably like 1,000 video essays on YouTube all about that. But suffice it to say that the 2005 Battlefront 2 managed to kind of carve out its own niche and make its own cool, unique Star Wars experience that you can't really get with any other game now or ever.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, EA tried to do kind of the same thing. They used the name, but you know, we can spend another hour or two talking about the misfires of both those projects for EA. It just didn't land, but they did the same thing. They released, you know, like Battlefront, they released right before, I believe it was Force Awakens that they released it, and then Battlefront 2 was right before Last Jedi. And so they followed the kind of formula, like Battlefront 2 came out right when episode 3 come out. So you're in heightened Star Wars. You're like, yes, new Star Wars. And then you get to play this game. And, you know, the new Battlefronts just didn't have the same impact that I think the ones from Pandemic Studios, you know, way back in the day. So,
yeah.
But yes, there you go. Thank you, Garrick, for, again, that email. We appreciate it. Sorry, it took us a little bit, but it is now in the archives forever. So there you go. All right, let us move on to news of the week.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, this is coming from InsideTheMagic.net, posted on January 9th. Hayden Christian makes shocking Star Wars return after 17 years. Gosh, I love these titles. I just love them. I just love them. Okay. So every Star Wars fan is on their edge of their streaming seats for the new Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yes, we are. And recently we know that he's reuniting, obviously, with Ewan McGregor, but recently he simply wishes fans, may the force be with you, for the first time in nearly 20 years, Aaron.
Oh my God.
And it really is that. It's just, he's in a dark hoodie, and all he says is, may the force be with you. That's it.
All we need.
That's all you need. That's all we need. And it's not really, I think this is a promotional clip for something else, but they basically, their StarWars.com was pushing something for, I would have to look it up, and I'm not a good journalist, so I didn't look it up, but he was helping basically promote something, and that's where this video clip comes from. But he's just like in a kind of a director's chair with his black hoodie, and he says, may the force be with you. So I just gotta say, man, and we just go goo goo gaga for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they know what we want.
That we do. We want some Hayden. We wanted that on Disney Plus Day, but they didn't give it to us, Aaron. So now we got this thing. But there you
Todd,
go.
we are like well-trained dogs. We don't need much, but what we get makes us happy.
It's very true. It's very true. All right. I saw this one. I'm like, we got to talk about this. This is coming from fox2now.com. And this is coming from Missouri. Yes, this is headline stuff right here. Okay. Here we go. Let's see if this holds your attention. How the Death Star from Star Wars ended up as a Missouri trash can.
Excuse me?
And I said, we got to talk about this. Let's just break this down. Okay. So obviously, Star Wars 1977, you get all that stuff, but was used as a trash can in Missouri during the 1990s. A series of very fortunate events helped keep the iconic item out of the dump, even though it was used
you're talking
as
about,
a trash can.
You're talking about the Death Star model?
The Death Star model. Yes.
Oh my.
You're shocked.
Lord.
I know.
Whoa.
I know. Let's break this down, okay?
Okay.
Gus Lopez has been collecting rare Star Wars memorabilia for decades and now writes occasionally for StarWars.com. He says that his story about how the original Death Star prop was found near the Lake of the Ozarks is his top conversational piece. Okay. So as you know, as many studios do, when the movie's over, they either store it or they break down, they destroy the sets or whatever. So the studio decided they no longer wanted to pay rent for the storage facility in 1997, and many items were thrown away.
What?
So Todd Franklin says that he was working at a local TV station near the Lake of Ozarks after graduating from high school. He was a cameraman on a series of local business when they went to an antique shop. A large gray ball in the store looked familiar to the Star Wars fan. He knew a little about the movie production and suspected it might be Death Star prop. Makes sense. But how did it end up in the middle of Missouri, Aaron? How?
I don't know.
So that night, I know. So that night he went to his VCR, as one does, and he went back to the antique shop the next day to talk to the store owners. And they told him they owned a storage facility in California, and some movie studios used it for storage. The filmmakers were told to pick their items or they would discard them after they decided to shut down the facility. Luckily, the movers saved many of the Star Wars items. Franklin says that he tried to buy the Death Star, but did not have enough money at the time. He says he called Lucasfilm to confirm that the Death Star model was in Missouri. I have the Death Star. I have the Death Star plans in Missouri. They told him it was destroyed while making the movie. Obviously,
just like
Luke
the original prints of the movies were destroyed, right, George Lucas?
Yeah, right. Yeah. The antique store owners then sold the item of an owner of a country and Western music show called Star World. Obviously.
What?
And eventually closed in 1993. And Franklin, still convinced that this was the actual movie prop, arranged a meeting to buy it. So Franklin's he's on the beat, man. He's like, I'm getting this thing. Lopez says that when Franklin and his friends got to their shop, the shop had been liquidated.
Oh no.
The Death Star sat in the corner and was being used as a trash can with rubberish inserted through the hole from the missing radar dish.
Wow.
He paid for it and strapped it to the back of his pickup truck to take it home. And a look at the details revealed that it was probably the real deal. Thousands of tiny windows were scratched into the paint of the painstaking. It says they glowed when you lit from the inside to reveal miniature city of the surface of the sphere. It was amazing. Wow. The friends thought it was too much of a piece of film history to sit in the Missouri home and needed to go back home. The group contacted Lucasfilm, and again, they see if they were interested in the 1977, Death Star. The story discovered a flyover. The owner of the website asked Franklin and his friends if they would sell it in 1999. Gus Lopez was interested in buying it. He flew to Osage Beach, Missouri to make the deal. Lopez was living with his wife. He bought the item in Missouri and shipped it back. The only problem, he had nowhere to put the Death Star. They eventually moved into a larger home and now have it proudly on display. The Death Star went on loan to the EMP Museum in Seattle for 5 years. It's gone through an extensive restoration, and you can see the image of it here now.
Oh my
Dude,
God.
how crazy is this story? How crazy is this story?
Wow. I've always wondered, as from the age of a wee young lad to,
Yes,
you know, what I am today, it's like, what happened?
Yeah.
We hear stories about what happens during movie production and all the crazy stuff that they build and all the tricks that they pull to pull it off. We don't often hear what happens, like, when production's over and what happens to everything that they make. Like,
right.
Who was it that just kind of like stole props?
We talked about,
was it Pedro
no,
Pascal?
we talked about this before. We talked about it before with why am I blanking on Kylo Ren's name?
Adam Driver. That's the one.
Adam Driver. Yeah, like
he was just like pilfer stuff.
He's like, yeah, I have a yeah. He's like, but so, and we kind of talked about then, like, what is the protocol? Like, the studio owns the things, but then obviously they give, there's many props that they make. We know, like, there's the hero kind of, lightsaber, and then there's the stunt lightsabers, and there's all kinds of same things. Same with the blasters. There's all different versions and all the kind of different things that go into making a movie. But again, they can't store everything. And when you look back at 19, again, now it's a little bit more like they know that this is special, or, they're going to take the time to make the right materials. But back then, in 1977, they didn't know it was going to be hit either. And so you kind of wonder, like, especially like a Death Star, which is a larger prop. It's like, well, we're not going to store this. I mean, we have it in this facility, but maybe it's like, well, we don't want to pay rent anymore, and they don't really understand what's in there. I don't know. It's kind of weird,
Yeah. And, occasionally you'll hear a story about like some director or cinematographer or like prop master. They'll have something and they just like keep it in their garage forever. But you can't always count on that either.
Right.
And man, it's just weird to think about all the man hours that went into making this like elaborate prop for this movie. But what you have to remember is that in the world of Hollywood, a lot of these people that are working on these movies, they may or may not be fans of Star Wars. To them, it's, even if they are fans, it's like, it's another day in the office. It's another job.
Well,
and
technically, they couldn't be a fan of Star Wars in 1977 because it didn't come out.
Right. So, like, when they're done with it, like, they're just going to move on to the next thing. And what happens to all the artifacts afterwards? It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It might end up here, might end up there, but as a trash can?
Part of me feels like, if you like, let's play some role playing here, Aaron. We're on the set, we're making props in 1976, 75, like, I don't know what I'm doing, but we're making this thing, and we made this large, thing. And then the movie comes out, and you're already on, like you said, you're already kind of moved on. You're on your next job, right? But then you're like, oh, that, like, somebody really likes that work. Wouldn't you be like calling up your effects buddies and be like, did you take anything? Like, because that part of it is like, not just like, I want to sell it, but the nostalgia part of like, we made this and now it's like a thing, I don't know. I just think you would want to, I don't know. I think it would be something that you would want,
Yeah, because, not every, the guy who made the Death Star, he didn't take it home. So did he just not really want it? Or was it a weird kind of issue with who owns it? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just weird. I would think you would, I'm glad. I'm actually glad. Like somebody, Todd Franklin, your hero, and Gus Lopez, your hero, because like they saved it. But I kind of want, like, part of me wants to travel back in time to that country resting bar and see the Death Star like hanging from Star World or whatever it was, and I'll be like, that's the Death Star, you know?
Yeah, hanging like a disco ball.
Dude, you never know. You never know.
Do you think
And
someone put like
the Death Star's like
they went to McDonald's for lunch and they got like a Dr. Pepper and they only like half drank it and they just shoved it through the opening of the Death Star and it splashed all
like
over. And somebody else had to clean it later. Wow.
Yeah. I saw that and I'm like, I gotta do that, you know. Yeah, just ask chat like what's your favorite prop. So we have Dave saying lightsaber hilt, so cool, stylish, and classy. Yes, those are great. Amanda also says from the original trilogy, it has to be the classic Skywalker lightsaber. Also,
yes,
very good choice.
That showed up at
talked about
that showed up at C2E2 a couple of years ago. Whenever I last went, they had like this traveling exhibit of like rare Star Wars collectibles, and that lightsaber hilt was there.
Yeah, and we had Brandon on a while back talking about Roger Christensen, who he was basically the father of the lightsaber, where that's one of the things he was looking for, is just like, what is something that we could kind of take off the shelf and, you know, use it as a prop. And that flash for these old cameras is what he used, and put a couple greeblies on it and you got yourself a lightsaber. It would be something iconic to have, like the actual original thing, you know. But
yeah,
so yeah,
someone's got it somewhere.
Those are great answers. That's right. All right, and finally, kind of keeping with the theme here, Aaron, thegamer.com says Star Wars leaker claims Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga is aiming to release in May. There's no better time to release a Star Wars game. So let's see what happens here. What we got here?
Give me those deets.
Okay, so yeah, let me give you those deets. Well, again, like many games, Lego Star Wars was supposed to come out in spring of 2001, but we had a pandemic, in 2021.
Oops.
Sorry, in spring of 2021, had a pandemic, got delayed. And then we didn't hear any noise. And then it was like, well, it's going to be, fall of 2020. And then nothing happened. And now we're in 2022. And so this is coming from Bespin Bulletin that says, got in contact with sources. There are many updates on some Star Wars game. Besides revealing Knights of the Old Republic remake is set for 2023. And it says here that the last thing I heard on the Lego Star Wars game was that May is the game. It was when the game was looking to release, but it's not set in stone. Things are ever changing in the current landscape due to COVID-19. This is which has already forced multiple delays upon the Skywalker saga. There's also a little bit about the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order. It will be Star Wars Jedi followed by a new subtitle. Clever, got it. It will not be called Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order 2. It will feature returning characters from its predecessor, some with larger roles, along with exciting existing Star Wars characters that weren't featured in the first installment.
Oh my god!
Oh my goodness! What? They're gonna call it Star Wars Jedi : something? That is unbelievable. That's great. I mean,
you said it.
I love Lego I love Lego Star Wars. Like I think it's it's fantastic. And I was so excited actually when they originally launched a trailer and they said it's spring of 2021. And I'm like, great. Now I get to play it when the pandemic's coming on. And then they delayed it. And it's like, no. I mean, it does not take any marketing genius. You drop it on May 4th and you'll get not only, and again, Lego Star Wars is a very friendly pickup game. It's a casual game, but it's also got deep stuff if you want to get all the characters and all the other stuff and the mini kits and all that fun stuff and the red bricks and the gold bricks and whatever kind of brick you want to get. So there's a lot of deepness to everybody there if you want. Yeah. But it's got that pick up and play kind of feel. And it really doesn't take much. You put May the 4th and you got gold, baby. That thing, it's especially when you're in a market for Star Wars games and there hasn't been much out there right now. So and it's hard, like you don't know the circumstances, but you had a pretty finished, polished game going into 2021. So it's like, hopefully they got the right amount of people and the right enough testing to get everything kind of polished so you're ready to go this year,
Yeah. Hope so.
Yeah. So there you have it. That's all the news fit to print.
Dang. That's a lot of news.
A lot of news.
Well, that means it's time
Still think
for
about that Death Star.
It's time for Cantina Chat. All right, the part of the show where we talk about everything geeky and weird going on with our lives. Todd, what have you been up to?
Oh man, I might have done something rash.
What?
So
what did you do?
So I watching my Boba Fett. We'll be talking about that, but I'm just looking. There's this cool Facebook page where it's like, I forget the actual title. I'm horrible, but basically it's like, how they make the props in Star Wars, like the real world stuff that they make, So I'm looking at this stuff. I'm like, all right, this is cool. And so there is a prop from season 1 of Mandalorian. It's the comedian guy. What's his name? That picks him up and drives him to the ice and then he gets eaten.
Oh, yeah.
I forget his name.
Blue fish gills guy.
Yeah. No, not the blue fish skills guy. He's a taxi driver. He pulls in on that dilapidated, the little cab has like, and then the speeder, and he's like picks up. And so he has these kind of binoculars that he puts on his eye and he's like, okay, here's your ship. And so I bought the makings for those binoculars.
What?
That's what I did. So I'm going to make those. Yeah. They're like, it's a Kodak camera from like the 70s. Whoa. And like 2 little bits. And I got myself a Mandalorian macro binoculars thing.
Whoa.
These are things you do late at nights. Don't go on the internet late at night. And I'm like, this looks great. I'm like, oh, let's check out the eBay link here. And I was like, oh, it's not that expensive. I am going to purchase this. Boop, boop. And 10 minutes later, I have everything I need to make this. And so I say that because I got the camera today. So
okay.
Like, thank you, eBay. And it's a really weird looking Kodak camera. And I understand why they used it. So
yeah,
it's just, those are kind of fun things, like, like we just talked about props and stuff. I mean, a lot of, we love our blasters. A lot of the blasters are based off of real guns, and so they're not changing too much with Mandalorian. And so anyways, they got I got this camera and I'm gonna make it Star Wars. So
perfect.
Stay tuned for that. Yeah.
Is that gonna be for your TK?
I will incorporate it into the TK. Yeah, I already got a 3D printed the Hoth binoculars that Luke's used. Like I have that, but it's not. It doesn't have any functionality. It's just 3D printed. This one's a real camera, and it'll have a couple gribblies, and it'll be done. So, I just finished also today. I just finished Star Wars: Dawn Ascendancy. The latest book, the lesser, I believe it's The Greater Good, The Greater Good, I believe that is. It was fantastic. Lesser Evil. I'm sorry. Greater Good was the second one. Lesser Evil. It was really big. It was like crazy amount of hours audiobook. It was chunky, and Mark Thompson nailed it out of the park. And so I did like the front half, and then like Christmas came and I got distracted, and there's a new High Republic book that just came out with Claudia Gray. I'm like, I got to get to that. So I'm like, I got to finish this up. And so I've been the last like 2 weeks, like, I got to finish this. And so I finished it today. And then I got like a little achievement from Audible Book, and they're like, what? Dude, you spent 20 hours. It was like 20 hours or more on one book. I was like, yeah, I know. It was long. It was crazy. Yeah. So yeah, did that. I'm trying to think of anything else geeky. I did get a couple I got 2 Lego sets for Christmas. So I just put together a Mandalorian Starfighter. So I will make sure I have it on display on the ready next podcast. But yeah, so I just built that. So that's fun. So yeah, that's enough geek. What about you, man?
Well, I have a story to tell you, but first I need to retrieve some artifacts. So give me like a second.
Okay, here we go. Hang on. He's going to get stuff. It's show and tell time.
I have things.
We love show and tell time. He has things to show.
I have things. So if you're on the YouTube chat, like, you'll benefit from this. If you're listening to the podcast, sorry, you're going to have to imagine.
Sorry. That's right.
So this happened like yesterday. My roommate, he's going with his girlfriend to this like art marketplace.
Okay.
What's the name of it? It's the Andersonville Galleria in Chicago.
Ooh,
and it's basically it's just a place where a bunch of independent artists can come and just like sell whatever they're making. And he goes to this place, and he has this moment where he feels like the Matrix has reset, and he's like watching it.
Did he see a
freak out in real time?
Did you see a black cat?
Something like that. So what you have to understand is that me and my roommate, we like very different things, but there's kind of this Venn diagram where we all come together, and part of that is like 80s retro wave, part of that is a love for the city of Chicago, and part of that, of course, is Star Wars. Well, he found an artist who somehow has combined all of those into like these unique things. So there's this artist, and he draws like, so he makes these digital paintings of different parts of Chicago, and he has a love for like neon at night, so it looks very it looks very 80s retro wave, and occasionally he'll just draw like a Chicago landmark and just sneak some Star Wars in. So I want to show you
please do
a print of this.
So that is a stormtrooper looking like he's on the wall, and then there's like a Yoda bar looking thing that's like Yoda.
Yeah, it's called Yoda's Lounge, and you could see the Sears Tower in the background.
Yeah,
if I can stop reflecting light right off of it, but it's just this alley
I can see
somewhere in Chicago. Here's the crazy thing, though.
Okay.
This is not some kind of tourist who just paints like the go-to Chicago landmarks, like, oh, I'm gonna paint the Bean, I'm gonna paint Buckingham Fountain.
Right.
No, he gets the deep cut stuff, And as evidence of this, I want to present to you
item number 2.
Grogu's Grog House. So if you're on YouTube, you could see this, but
yes.
This is
that IG-11?
The IG-11.
Oh.
There's
and a blurg.
There's a blurg. There's Mando in Grogu's Grog House, and I just wanted. Here's the thing: this is based on a real place. It is a block from my house. It is
Aaron,
based on a.
You need.
It's based on a pub.
You need to go at night. You need to go at
yes.
night and like hold a picture of the yes. Like
yes, this is based on a real place. Like a block from where I live. An Irish pub. The elevated train right here is nearby.
Yes.
Like this guy, he's been here. He gets it. Here's the real crazy thing. He also digitally painted this flower shop right here. I live above this building.
No, you don't.
I do. And this man painted it. He found it and he painted it. That is incredible.
Fantastic.
So,
wow.
Yeah, my roommate, he saw this and he was shook. He's like, "What happened?" Like, I found an exploit in the Matrix. The algorithm has found me. I'm about to die. And he's messaging me. And he's like,
"It's like, Aaron, you wouldn't believe this stuff."
Yeah. So we got some of those paintings, and I just about died.
That's awesome.
That was such a weird confluence of all the things that we love together, substantiated by this artist. So we got that together.
Yeah. Dude, that's fantastic.
That's my Cantina chat. Well, besides that, I mean, we've been watching Boba Fett.
David said that he literally bought flowers from that shop. David
no
in chat
kidding.
He bought flowers from,
Wow.
It's
a small world. But and I'm just scratching the surface here. If you go to this guy's website, he's got deep cuts from all around Chicago, just these cool little places to hang out. He's got the Green Door Tavern. He's got the Holiday Inn Club. It's awesome.
We know what we must do. We know what we must do.
We got to get him on the show.
That's exactly what. Yes. Yeah.
So
that
was my week. Yeah, we've been watching Book of Boba Fett.
We should have your roommate on and the artist on so we can merge the two. You know,
we'll figure out a way.
All right, so you're watching Book of Boba Fett.
We've been watching Book of Boba Fett, and I know we're gonna save that for like a big roundup episode, I think. But absolutely
overall,
loving it.
You're loving it.
And go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say episode one wasn't as strong as I would liked it to be, but episode 2, a little rocky. Episode 2, it got me. It hit all the right buttons. I was like, yes.
It's so rich and full.
Yep.
I don't want to say anything more because we're going to talk about it at length. But
I know.
We've really been enjoying it, and what a lovely day for our listeners that get WSTR and Boba Fett in one day. Then
I mean it's a 1-2 punch,
Yeah. Now besides that, I've got the finale of this arc of the campaign for my Star Wars game is coming up on Saturday, and I am freaking out. I'm hoping
Are you prepared?
No.
Are you prepared?
No. I know what I have to do. I just haven't done it yet, but I'm just hoping that it can be as
all of them.
Yeah. I'm just hoping it could be as fun for my players as I would want it to be, and that
sure.
I kind of imagine in my head. But what I've learned is that what I imagine in my head is the most fun for my players is not as fun as what my players imagine is going to happen, and that's not as fun as what we kind of co-create together in the moment. So I have to be willing to kind of approach it with an open hand. And it's going to be great. But
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
yeah, it'll
Yeah.
be great. So that's
awesome.
pretty much all I got for Cantina
So that's
Chat.
Saturday. That's coming this Saturday. It's
Yeah.
happening. Nice.
All right. That's
Cool.
about all I got.
Awesome. And the girls did not leave us any notes. What the heck?
No.
Slackers.
Well, they'll have to do twice the Cantina Chat next week. That's how it works.
We'll just sit back and you do like a 2-hour spiel of like what happened in the last like 4 weeks, you know.
Them's the rules. I didn't make the rules. That's just what they are.
That's right. That's right.
All right. So that means it's time to wrap up this episode, Todd.
Yes, it is.
All right. So thanks again for listening to another episode of WSTR Galactic Public Access. You can find us on the socials, Heather at Hawk Awesome, Carla at Carla Marie Giac, Todd at Tizod, and myself at Aaron Julian. We're part of the Red 5 Network, a wonderful network of Star Wars podcasts. You can find them at Red 5 Network, and of course ourselves at WSTR Media. We want to hear from you, so please comment, tweet, rate us on Apple Podcast. If you give us a 5-star rating, we'll throw some swag directly into your face.
Right in your face.
And you can catch our entire back catalog of episodes at podcast.wstrmedia.com. We got merch. Cover yourself or a loved one head to toe in WSTR merch. That is over at store.wstrmedia.com. The good folks at Teespring will help you out. And we are on Patreon, patreon.com/WSTRmedia. Join our fine patrons in enjoying exclusive content you can't get anywhere else. If once a week is just too little for you for WSTR, you need to check out this Patreon.
That's right.
Thanks everybody in the YouTube chat for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
That is over at livestream.wstrmedia.com. Well, now that we're back from our break, every Monday night, 9 o'clock Central Standard Time ish. Might be a little early, might be a little late, but we'll be there and it'll be fun.
It's so whenever your song ends. That's pretty much what it's like. Oh, I have an 8-minute song. You're like, no. Okay, well, we're gonna start ish, you know.
Yeah. So again, we want to thank you all for so much of your support these last 5 years. We just recently celebrated not only episode 250, but also 5 years of the podcast. And we're excited for this next year to come. We got some great surprises in store for you. So please, if you have any ideas for a show that you would like to listen to, or any guests that you would love us to interview, please let us know. Drop us an email at mailbox@wstrmedia.com or leave us a voicemail at 630-557-WSTR. That's 630-557-9787. Maybe even both at the same time. You never know.
Right. Those both can work. Right.
Yes. So you can leave us a voicemail and we could play it on an upcoming episode of the show, or drop us a line, correspond with us as far as a guest that you would like us to get in touch with. Maybe somebody that you know that you would love to have on the show that you think would be a good fit. We'd love to check them out.
Maybe even you.
Yeah, even you.
Yeah.
I mean, stranger things have happened. One of the guests on our show became a regular host. So
it could happen. It could happen. You never know. We don't have, there's not many credentials we have for WSTR. It's just like, you like Star Wars? Okay. Not going to trash anybody? Okay. There you go. Let's do it.
Yeah. Be cool. Be here.
Be cool. That's right.
Todd, do we have a sneak peek on the next episode?
Yeah. So James Earl Jones is getting up there. His birthday is next week. He's going to be 91. So we are going to do an Imperial inspection on the man himself, Darth Vader.
Oh,
haven't done
God.
it yet. We're going to do it and celebrate James Earl Jones at the same time.
Can't believe it's taken us this long, but
I know, right.
That's the time.
That's what we do. We were going for all the hero characters right away. So
All right. Well, Todd, there's
All right.
only one way to end
Yes.
this episode.
That's right.
Now this
Now this is
podcasting.
podcasting.